You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey everyone, this is Walter from iWalter. I actually did not plan to do a show. I say this every single time. I sound like a broken record, I realize at this point. But I really wasn't. I really had no idea for a show, as I adjust my mic. And some stuff did come up. Now, it was funny. I was actually hoping, I do hope actually I have enough material tonight to do a full show. I doubt I do, but I'm going to try. But it was funny, not really funny. I can't think of another word to use. But I was just mentioning yesterday, I said, okay, hey, listen, there was 6 people murdered in Philadelphia just on, I believe it was Tuesday night, because it's Thursday night now. And there were 6 people killed. And here then last night, on the news, my parents were watching the 10 or 11 o'clock news. 11 people in all, I think, because I'm trying to figure it out. It's 6. There's different stories, but it seems like the total went up to 11 people got murdered the next day. So I think that's in all. Again, I've been looking at different storylines, and one says 6 slain during a violent day in the streets of Philadelphia. That was March 9th. That's today, right? No, that was yesterday. So the day before it was 5, and now there was another 6, or it was 6, and there was another 5. But in all, I'm guessing there was 6 murders in Philadelphia. I mean, that's not something to be proud of. I'll tell you that much. But there's nothing being done about it. So yeah, I don't have any definite story, and I was trying to listen back, and when I was doing my show, I had a real difficult time reading some of these stories. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to mess up my storylines again. I actually saw a really good film last night I do want to talk about. But before that, the realization of this Obamacare being a total disaster is actually starting to come into play. Because today I got in the mail, like our mail doesn't come until 6:30 anymore. It used to come at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but now it comes at 6:30 at night. It's really ridiculous. So, I just shut a bunch of stuff down. So anyway, I got in the mail tonight when the mail finally came. Well, one thing I got was I ordered it on Best Buy. I made sure to put some extra money on my credit card for that. I actually, sorry, I wish I was around there. The actress Dawn Wells is going to be somewhere at a convention. I'd love to see her. She's really hot still, I think. For an older woman, I think she's hot. But it's in Florida. They're not going to come around. Well, it's actually really nice around here. So anyway, yeah, when the mail finally came, one of the things that came in the mail, which I was really psyched about, is I got Hogan's Heroes on, I'm trying to think. I actually got it, the complete series on, it was like $50, I think, $58. That's including the shipping, though. And it came in the mail. I got it on Best Buy because I had a coupon, too, that they submitted to me because I've been, I just bought that TV. So that actually, they don't give you them all at once, but they give you, in small amounts, they give you these $5 coupons, so to speak. So, hey, it's like, this is really cool. But now this is pertaining, though, I've mentioned this a million times about Obamacare. And how, like, everybody seems like it's not going to affect me. Well, yeah, guess what? It actually did affect me now. So, hey, for the people who don't have insurance, you can continue to live in that fantasy world. Well, it's not gonna affect me on my insurance. Wow, there's even one on the Times Herald now. So I'll have to read that next. But I got in the mail, it was a W-2 form. I already filled out my W-2 form. I actually submitted it. I did it on TurboTax. And what this was about, by the way, was it was to show, it was just to show in case I ever have any problems with the government that I am actually paying paying for health insurance. See, if you don't pay your insurance, you can get a couple grand fine for the year. Like, it was supposed to start out pretty small, but I think it's quickly changed from that. And by the way, for those who don't remember this or don't know, I'm pretty sure about this. Originally, what was considered Obamacare was actually that whole healthcare system originally had started with the Clintons. The Clintons are the ones who initially started this whole affordable healthcare plan, and then they just slapped Obama's name on there, and now everybody thinks it's so wonderful because, who's going to go against Obama? Nobody. So, just letting you know that. People don't seem to remember that, or maybe they just don't know it in general. So anyway, yeah, I got this statement in the mail, and it was like, there was a joke on Facebook today I got. Somebody had posted, I put it on my page. What basically said, oh, yeah, hey, I can, thanks to Obamacare, now not only now can I not afford insurance, I now can pay a $2,800 fine for the year. So that was supposed to be a joke. I didn't say that, but that's what this thing said. So it was like, and ironically today I got this thing from work, and it says, okay, this is to show that you've had, for the past 12 months, you've had health insurance. So it was a W-2 form, and since I've already filed my taxes and I actually went through TurboTax, it's not an issue because they actually basically pull all your files from work. You have to put a number in, it pulls all your work information up. So it's not necessary for me to present that any longer. I'm going to keep it in my file in case I ever get to audit it and they say, hey, listen, you haven't had health insurance. I'll say, no, here's records that said I've had health insurance for the past 12 months. Now, that was the one thing. My one friend, Matt, you've heard this before, like, this is why I'm kind of stuck at my job, so to speak. I'm just letting you know. I hate my job, but I kind of need a job that pays decent health care, because if I don't, then I'll have to pay it out of my pocket, and I can't afford that right now. So, it kind of makes me still stuck at my job, even though I'm not in there most of the time. But, if it wasn't for this, I'd have to pay out of pocket like a couple grand a year just on health insurance, and I can't afford that right now. So, I have to make the best of, until things get straightened out, hopefully, which I think this Obamacare, you can't get rid of it. Once it's there, it's kind of like he made sure that this was not going to go away even after he's gone. He made sure of that. I'm pretty sure. So anyway, yeah, it was just funny to see that I got a W-2 form statement just recently that I was supposed to use in my W-2 form, but I didn't really make that much of a difference because it came up when I put in my work number for my job. That actually all was placed in the correct spot of what I was paying for everything. So, and I actually got a lot less this year. I got almost half of what I got as a tax return last year. And you can thank, again, it's because of the changes in this whole health care and everything else of what you have to pay. And taxes going up. So, I got more of a tax return. And, generally they say you don't want to really get any tax return. You want to pay enough that, if you pay the right amount, you don't have to worry. You're really not supposed to get anything back. But I did. So, and the reason was that I got less this year is because taxes have gone up a lot higher. Not, I generally don't make a mistake. I try to see what I can get back. But nothing's changed on how I work, and I generally, filled it out the same way, but yet I got less money back. And again, it's because, you're paying more in taxes than ever before. You got to pay for the people who are not working. You can take that either way, but it's the truth. So anyway, I just seen this. I posted on my Facebook page. It says breaking news. It was 9 hours ago, but it just kind of surfaced from the Times Herald. again, breaking news. Police have reported that a 37-year-old Norristown man was stabbed and killed on 300 block East Marshall Street Wednesday. So the thing was, I was just on Norristown Street. There's blood all on the crime scene, too, on the ground, the pavement in front of the person's house. I told you before, I'm really scared. I'm actually considering getting a gun, folks. But yeah, a man stabbed in a domestic incident. Police have reported the 37-year-old Norristown man was stabbed and killed on 300 block East Marshall Street. I'm going to have to remind my parents of that or let them know. There is another one I might have to put up. It's at least not about any violence, I hope, from the Morning Call. This is one of the Pennsylvania's largest drillers must pay $4.25 million over polluted water. Jury decides. It's a lot of money to pay. It was in Scranton. Federal jury awarded two couples nearly $4.25 million on Thursday after finding one of the largest natural gas drillers in Pennsylvania. I don't know what that's about. I'm just kind of giving people a heads up. Some really gruesome pictures, too. I mean, these are for these campy horror movies. That's the thing I got to look up, folks, because I thought that was really cool last night. Now, this is the second time I used Netflix to one time. I got this one horror movie that was supposed to be, it kind of reminded me of, I might have already mentioned this, but honestly, I can't even remember the name. Oh, it was called Rekilled. Now, the movie got really bad ratings, though, but I actually really liked it. It kind of reminded me of Ship Troopers and also that other movie of RoboCop. You know, it had that campy with the live video news footage in the background. But, you know, in some way, it actually really worked with this Rekilled movie. So, yeah, I was watching that, and that was really cool. And then last night on HBO, I got HBO Go because my parents got cable in the house. They got HBO. So I was watching this movie. I got to look, and I've been, like, kind of dragging my feet on watching it because I figured, oh, it's going to be a really bad movie. It's got, you know, heinous, horrible reviews, and I watched it. It was like, it literally scared me so much that I was actually jumping. I actually, for one of these Blair Witch kind of film shot movies, I actually covered my eyes, and I almost didn't sleep last night. It scared me that bad. Now, I'm going to look that up in a minute because the one guy who acted in this movie, he's like a decent-looking guy, but he plays in that horrible movie or TV show called Superstore with my woman, America, which I really like her as an actress. I'm not going to say I like her on her whatever her political views are, but I like her as an actress. And I feel like bad for her because this show is so bad. It started out really good for the pilot and just went like downhill from there. So anyway, before I go into that, there's a story from the Times Herald said alert. Upper Marion Township police are investigating two residential nighttime burglaries that occurred in the northern section of the township within the past 2 weeks. It says Upper Marion police alert residents in recent burglaries. See, I said this too. I'm afraid, like last night I had taken a risk. I actually did leave my window open in my room, but I slept really well. But I'm always afraid. I mean, it sounds really kind of stupid, but I'm afraid like I might get robbed or something like that because of these mental cases around here. So anyway, let me look up this movie I watched last night because I'll tell you a little bit about it because I thought it was really good for one thing. I'm not even making this up. I actually really enjoyed the movie. So let me look up Superstore and look up this actor. Ironically, the actor I'm talking about, he's actually from Washington, D.C. I've never heard of anybody from D.C., that became like an actor that somebody would even consider. So, because they said from the District of Columbia, so the guy actually comes from Washington, D.C. His name's Ben Feldman, and on Superstore he plays this character called Jonah. So, in this other movie, it's like, dude, you won from like a really decent horror movie. It got bad reviews. It got really bad reviews. I mean, it didn't even hit red on the tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes, so I figured it was going to be really bad. So my one, Matt, you're going to tell me, yeah, well, you got really bad taste in movies. I'm sorry to bring up your name all the time, dude, but you're my friend, so I don't have many friends, so I only talk about people I either know, or if I don't mention her name, it's for other reasons, because I don't know them or whatever. But I do know you, so I don't mean to put you under the spotlight. But yeah, this guy, he played his movie. He did a really good job. This movie, I would recommend. I just don't understand. It was a 2014 movie I'm looking at right now. It's called As Above, So Below. 2014 movie, got the worst freaking reviews. And honestly, that movie had me jumping. Like, I really almost wanted to buy it to see if there was any extras on if I buy the disc. Because, like, when you get these movies online, they give you a little bit of extras, but they won't give you everything. You know, any behind-the-scenes crap and all. This movie, if you're claustrophobic, for one thing, this is a movie not for most people then, because you're in, like, the most found places. Like, this main girl in this movie, it actually reminded me, believe it or not, of Indiana Jones, even though it was like a Blair Witch shot film. And all these actors did an incredible job. And all you're hoping for these people is they better get out alive. Well, I'm not going to say what happened, because it's pretty heinous, and it really will make you jump. If I say anything about this movie, you have not seen it, it's going to spoil it for you. Now, I don't know if that's on Netflix. Like I said, we have HBO, so I get HBO Go for free, and the movie was really, really good, I thought. I was like, okay, I'm going to take a chance, because I'm paying for Netflix every month, and it goes up all the time. The price of Netflix originally was like $8 a month. Then it went up to like $10 a month, but before you even got rentals that you could like get sent in your mailbox, that's gone. You have to pay for both separately. And now, since I do have an HD TV set, if you want to take advantage of having, a 4K TV set, if you want to take advantage of that, you got to pay more money. That's like $12 a month. Well, I don't use it enough. I think, by the way, though, at the end of the month, when it does come through, that movie of, or TV show of, I want to say Bullseye, but I'm drawing a blank, of Daredevil, I think I might pay the extra $12 just to get the 4K version of Daredevil, because I'm sure that's going to be one of the shows in 4K. And I really enjoyed the first season. Most people just like marathon through the show anyway, so if I start watching, I'll be done in a month. So it might be worth it for me. But yeah, this movie, it says it was an hour and 33 minutes. It got like the worst reviews. But then, like, if people who have actually, like myself, who have watched it, I'm looking at it on IMDb, it got a 6.1 out of 10, which is still not that great. But if you look on Amazon's reviews, a lot of people who actually rented the movie online really liked the movie as much as I did. So I'm not the only one out there who thought this movie was really good. So it grossed around almost $22 million. I'm sure this movie probably wasn't a high-budget film. I think it was like an independent film. It did have some really good special effects, I'll tell you that much. So, I don't know. I'm trying to look to see if it actually gives you what the cost was of the movie. And unfortunately, I personally think it's a sleeper film. I think it was really well put together. And the reason I said it kind of reminded me of Indiana Jones is because this girl, the main character, this British girl, she was like an archaeologist or whatever you call it. Not an anthropologist. Or is it an anthropologist? I don't know. But she was like Indiana Jones. In fact, she's like doing stuff for the name of science. Like she wanted to look for these historic artifacts and everything like that. And here she went actually into the beginning of the movie. She kind of reminds me of the Indiana Jones thing. She tries to go and she breaks into Iran to try to find some, key, as it was called, this thing that was a key on how to decipher old language and things. It was really cool, though. I mean, it's a lot of the film's really dark, and you're very claustrophobic, very small tunnels that there's barely enough room to breathe in. So that part was really weird, and a lot of it did remind me of Indiana Jones movies. Not like with over-the-top theatrical effects, but just the whole point is that this girl and this other guy, the guy who plays in Superstore, both those characters were really in for the interest of science and history and theology as well. So in the beginning of the movie, to find this key, she had to go to Iran. She almost got herself killed. I think my parents were like, it's like one of these, Blair Witch movies, and with the camera, you're focused on the camera's point of view the whole time. But it was, again, I thought they did a really good job. And I like that movie, The Pyramid. That did really bad too. But some of the stuff was a little bit too CG'd for my liking. It looked too fake. And I was afraid, okay, is as above, so below going to be the same way? No, actually it was not. They actually did a really good job with any kind of special effects they used that were computer generated. It didn't look so fake. And the whole sense of the thing is that you're going down these catacombs that lead directly to, not in I'm not going to say it was the one part was when she was in Iran. That actually was a key that would open up, that you can go to the center of what would be believed to be through these catacombs, which were actually not in Iran. That was one part of the movie, because the other part was the rest of the movie was these catacombs that still really do exist. And a lot of them aren't really discovered because they go so deep. The catacombs in France, where they were burial grounds, and they go miles underground. So, I mean, that's what they played on. And what they discovered, though, is some of these catacombs, if you go deep enough in there, you could actually find, which they didn't know at first they were going to do this, but they found some, I want to say, I make sure I say it right, is it anthropology or archaeological studies of, on the theological myths and stuff. They actually found even an old crusader that was still well preserved because he was so far down in these catacombs that he died there. And it kind of reminded me like they did take that from the Holy Grail one of Indiana Jones, because he was laying there with his sword and he had the crusade outfit on, whatever you call it. He was well preserved. He looked like he just died. It was like 500-year-old corpse. So there was that, but they found some other archaeological stuff or whatever, anthropological stuff, I don't know. And it was writing on the walls, literally writing, paintings and stuff, that basically deciphered, the theological studies combined with science studies and everything else. And what they actually discovered was a division between hell on earth, or the key to if you go on deep enough in these catacombs, you actually did end up in hell. So the only problem is, once you get into hell, technically you can't escape. So this was like there was a doorway between the earthly realms, and there were these paintings actually described that there was a part that heaven and earth were kind of almost separated. In hell, there was a key to hell in this mix of these tunnels, and they actually did find it. That's when it got, even before then, it got really pretty disturbing to watch. And I'm probably not doing a very good job of explaining it, but honestly, I honestly thought the movie was pretty damn good. So, again, I wish I could kind of come up with what it costs to make this film. I just thought it was really good, so I recommend that movie. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to say, now that I say this movie's really good, or that I really enjoyed it, they're going to say, what are you talking about? This movie was horrible. So if I say, oh, this movie really sucked, I'm sure you're going to say, oh, this movie was actually not that bad. I don't know what you're talking about. Because that's usually what generally happens. So I'm just kind of glancing through first if there's anything else that might be worth kind of like talking about before I go through my mix of stories. But yeah, the main thing was, it was like this movie I watched. It did scare the crap out of me last night. I'm trying to look for something. And then that other film that I watched was really, I thought these were pretty good. I call those sleeper films because I think what that refers to when you say, oh, this movie was a sleeper, it's just like kind of a movie that gets, it gets passed by like, oh, this movie's not worth going to see. And actually it kind of was, but people kind of just take it kind of for granted. See another breaking news story. So I'm going to look at this first. I always go through because I'll always find something before. Oh, okay, breaking news. Alan West put this up. U.S. just launched airstrikes against WMD. Here's what you need to know. I don't even know what WMD is. WMD. Oh, okay. And this was on yesterday's date, actually. So it's a little bit old. Not by a few hours. But it said, and unfortunately it came from CNN, is reported that U.S. military has conducted airstrikes against ISIS chemical weapons targets. Weapons targets. So they do need to do that, I'm telling you, because they do have, what can I say, they have, if you don't do this, we're all going to die. I mean, we're all going to eventually die, but we're going to die a lot sooner than we're supposed to. Let me put it that way. Yeah, there's one from PIX11. I don't even know where that... Oh, it's in Brooklyn. It says breaking news. This was 5 hours ago. 2 teens have been shot in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. So there's a lot of murders behind, these younger people. Well, now, here's an interesting one from Fox 29. Even though that's our Philly station, I'm not sure if that's where it's coming from. A man is facing charges accused of breaking into a co-worker's home and molesting the dog. That's a new one. Police say he was caught in the act, but he had an excuse when he was found. I'm sure he really did, too. That's pretty interesting. Man gets caught molesting a dog. I don't know. It just seems like it's nonstop with stuff where people will do. I mean, honestly, at this point, I hate to say this, there are a lot less. I can't even think of the right word. Painful to read when I see about these people molesting animals more so than children and these murder raps. That, like the past 2 days, there was 11 murders in Philadelphia. And now one that would be not considered Philly, but the one in Norristown just yesterday. Now, yeah, here's one from the Times Herald 14 hours ago, by the way, and it says Norristown residents apprehends burglar suspect who climbed in bed with his wife. Wow. Norristown residents apprehends a burglar suspect who climbed in bed with his wife. At 3:44 a.m. on March 2nd, the police responded to an 1800 block Markley Street for a burglary in progress. Oh, here's an interesting one. Now, this is one. It's a white Caucasian male, and this one is actually very serious. I'm not just saying that, but it actually says, disgusting. He raped a 6-year-old boy while another one recorded it. Now, it was an older man, and this man has been tested. He's HIV positive. Man pleads guilty to raping a 6-year-old boy. So that's really scary. That one I want to see where it was. It was in Pennsylvania, too. So why do you think... Okay, this man's 62 years old. He's been tested for HIV. He's HIV positive, and he had raped a 6-year-old boy. So that is actually quite scary, by the way. This poor kid now, he's going to probably have AIDS himself. I mean, what do you say about something like that? Well, you can just look the other cheek. This stuff happens all the time. Actually, that kind of stuff really does not happen all the time. I mean, they act like it does because the media is going to just tell you what they want you to think, not what is the actual truth. Come on, let's face it. So after that story, I'm going to look through. I'm not laughing at that story, by the way, not even in the least. But I'm going to look through my Facebook page. I did find something I just posted tonight, just while I've been on air. And it's basically about, it was from the Radio Times, that's the English newspaper. Peter Capaldi, Stephen Moffat, will be remembered as one of Doctor Who's greatest writers. I don't really know about that. I disagree. I don't think he was one of the best writers. It was much, much better, by the way. I've got to remind myself right now to tell my parents about the stabbing that happened in the 300 block of East Marshall Street on Wednesday. I had taken an actual funny picture today. This is no joke. It's right down the street from where I live. And there's this place that they sell these cars. It was like a hospital facility or whatever. They made it into a used car dealership. So, yeah, I had to like make a comment about it, but right now it says a 2011 Honda Civic, 29,000 miles for only like $14,000, like $13,485. So it's not even. And the funny thing about it is that they're also in, they basically get cars off of leases and they sell them at this place. They were also trying to sell a Cadillac hearse there too. And it was like, okay, it was funny. I had taken a picture from my friend. He never responded. So now I actually got to the point. I was like, I'm just going to put it up on Facebook, which I did. And people kind of gathered the fact that I was making the comment not about the car, the Honda was for sale, but the actual hearse that was on the dealership lot for sale. I think it was funny. So, and I actually put this up today. One of these things is from America Succeed or Die, and one of these little statement things. I put up a lot of pictures of hot girls too. Don't get me wrong. So anyway, it says if Democrats cared about the poor as much as they say they do, they would try harder to get them out of the welfare system rather than figuring out how to get them into it. I swear to God, that's what it says. I'm not sorry about that. I just swore. I didn't mean to. So there was that. I thought that was pretty funny. Another one was, I got this off of kernelmagazine.daily.com. Like kernel is like, the way it's spelled, it meant a kernel that is actually what your OS is made of. There's a kernel that actually is in your OS. It's the brains, it's the heart that, or the seed that actually develops into your OS eventually, your operating system. So there was a story on there, or some stories, and it said plugging in a 1986 Mac Plus into a modern web, how hard would it be? And I think it said it takes, just to load the first page had taken quite a bit of time. This was just written. Actually, it's an older article. It's like a year old. I don't know why, but it came up, and it was like interesting, so I had to look at it. I remember running OS 9, at least one of the versions. I actually liked it on a Mac. It was just a little bit like not as friendly, because now the Macs are pretty much can run anything a PC can run, so I don't have a problem with it. But again, this was like a year old. Because you're talking, I forget the specs on this system. It says it's a lowly machine. It's like basically rebuilding old cars, what they specify. But it says the specs pale in comparison to even a Kindle at 8 megahertz. I mean, these machines, they had the specs somewhere. I'm going to see if I can find them again on this particular Mac. I think that was only like 8 megahertz. On this old Mac, they were seeing how it could run on today's, even just running the internet, where you had to basically, I think you had to dial up almost anyway. Because it said 8 megahertz CPU, 4 megs of RAM, and 50 megabyte hard drive, and a 5 by 12 times 384 pixel black and white screen. So I think that is the specs for this old Mac machine. It was, let's see which one it was. It might have been the second version of the Mac, where it did have a floppy drive. I remember using floppy drives years ago. But yeah, 4 megs of RAM. Ooh. And Mac requires 2 megs just to run like a web page. But back then, the web pages did not look, they weren't graphical interface like they are now. So you're talking, saying something about 15. I think it's more than 15 years at this point, honestly. And yeah, that was the thing that reminded me too. Yeah, you couldn't really run on these old machines. You couldn't run a Cat 5. You couldn't run a I mean, most of I don't think you could, but maybe you did. And, the best you could get, I think, were the floppy drives there, or the ScanDisk or something made those big hard drives. They were plastic. It's the best you could do. I can't see all the specs right now. It's a pretty interesting article if you actually want to look at it. Again, since the kernel issue. Kernel is, again, the thing you find in, you find underneath. It's what starts everything when you build a new OS. The source is the kernel, the actual thing. Yeah, there's a lot of interest and stuff. I won't bore people with that one. I just thought it was pretty cool. Hey, this has actually come to light now, and it was actually, I think I got this off of Stan Lee's website, because it does say, therealstanleeworld.com. Guess which friendly neighborhood Marvel hero has finally shown up in the new Civil War trailer, and that was Spider-Man. So, yeah, he's going to actually definitely be there. Now, tonight, if I wasn't doing this show, I would have been at the movie theaters at this point, which it's too late now, unfortunately. But today was like the pre-release of the movie 10 Cloverfield Lane. So that would have been pretty cool to see. So I was just checking for some other things that might be worthwhile to check. Now everybody's releasing, by the way. Now Target's got their own version now where you can get Star Wars, a new movie of Star Wars. And everybody's got their own different version. I bought two different versions, one from Best Buy, I think, and one from the Disney store. One's like a tin box. The other one is actually from Disney, and you get some extra merchandise with, or whatever you want to call it, little gizmos. Now, Target's putting out their own version now of Star Wars, and this one says Blu-ray combo with collectible packaging plus 20 minutes of exclusive bonus content, including never-seen-before interview with Daisy Ridley. I think she's the girl in there, obviously, and John, and a deeper look in the movie props. So they got an extra. I'm actually almost tempted. That gets expensive for all these different versions. Yeah, it says it's got a sticker on the box. I guess it's coming out soon for the Star Wars Force Awakens. Collectible packaging. It looks really awesome. Exclusive bonus content. See inside details valid while supplies last. Pre-order now. So you end up paying all this money for all these different versions, though. This gets crazy after a while. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool, and I get a 5% discount on top of it. But 5% on $20 is like, or on $25. I hate to say it, it's like 25 cents. Not even. It's probably like 15 cents. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool, but it just gets a little bit pricey after a while. So I don't know what to say about that one. But I just figured I'd there was a story I'm looking at right now. I put this up. It was 6 hours ago. Man agrees to take teen girl to breakfast, gets a big surprise instead. I'm not sure what that one's about. I don't even know where I got it. Opposing views. Kansas City, Missouri teenager faces jail time after a man accused of kidnapping and robbing him. A man accused her of kidnapping and robbing him. So that's what I guess what he got in return. Police arrested Courtney Lynn Daniels, 18, after Daniels allegedly invited a man to her home through Facebook. Now, here's the funny thing. She's 18. She's considered a kid. Now, if it's a guy and he does something that is inappropriate or stealing something from somebody, he's automatically, even at the age of 17, he's considered an adult. But they use the terminology in this one. She's 18. She's an adult as a teen girl. So it's amazing how they changed the wording on who it is. The man arrived at her house last Saturday with an intent to take the teenager to breakfast, according to the court documents. When the teenager invited him through a basement door, two armed men with dark bandanas over their faces punched him and demanded his credit cards, money, cell phone, car keys, according to the victim. So, and I'm sure I'll hear, well, the guy should have never went over her house, but they're saying the guy's a man. How old was he? 19? I don't know. They're not giving the guy's age. There's always the way they word it is just whatever makes the one person look like a victim, the other person look like they're guilty as all hell, whatever. I found this other story that's interesting. It was AmericanNews.com. I'm waiting for it to open up. I don't bother opening this stuff up ahead of time because if I try to read it, it's just obviously it's a disaster. No, I could always just paraphrase. Anyway, it's like it says 4 family members charged after horrific reaction to rape pregnancy of a 14-year-old girl. See if it opened up. Yeah, 14-year-old girl from Dallas, Texas, was reportedly beaten by 4 family members who were attempting to induce an abortion after finding out she had been impregnated by another family member. And I got a picture of all of them in the thing. So it was a family member who had got one of their sister pregnant, and then they tried to beat her up and get her to abort the baby. It says the unidentified teen was 8 months pregnant when she was allegedly brutally beaten by Cedric Jones, 27, Sharon Jones, 45, and Cecilia McDonald, 25, and Lonell McDonald, 27, who was pictured above in this police mugshot. This is the Dallas Morning News report. The attack reportedly took place in 2013 and lasted a few hours, after which the police say the teen delivered the stillborn baby and her family members burned the baby on a charcoal grill at their home in effort to cover up the crime. Well, they could have probably cooked, since they were cooking it, they might as well just fed it to the family members. I know, that's really bad of me to say. So, on a lighter note, I do got another article from Polygon.com about Spider-Man being in Captain America. It has Spider-Man actually holding the Captain America shield. It says, get the first look at Spider-Man, his newest trailer from Captain America Civil War. So he is in the trailer. That's been an issue for years, and now that's finally no longer a problem. He actually, once again, Spider-Man is going to be in the new Captain America. That's going to probably get more people to go see it now. So, I don't know if I read this, but there was a story about yesterday. I'm not sure if I read it, but in Cypress, God, it really does exist. Cypress Hills, Brooklyn, the man was rushed to a hospital after being stabbed on the subway platform in Brooklyn Wednesday afternoon. So I don't know if I read that yesterday or not. I probably did. By the way, I just thought it was so funny. Some guy put up from these B horror movies. It's one of those, what is it, those moving things, GIFs. And it shows like one of these black and white horror movies. I just thought it was hilarious. And it's supposed to be like a monster-sized brain. The guy's bashing over the head with like an axe or something. But it looks like an inflated balloon. And I kind of send it on one friend's Facebook page. And I said Attack of the Killer Breast Implants. Because it just looks so... I didn't know what else to call it. But it's just funny. It's a funny gif. Another story actually was somebody put up about these lost VHS movies, and it's that movie that I actually own. I think it's called Blood Beach or something. I actually did buy that movie, and they put that up once in a while, but I actually love that. That's like one of my favorite movies, actually. I don't think it's Humanoids from the Deep, because I own that too, but I think it's called Blood Beach. I can't remember, but because they didn't actually give the name of the movie, but it's one of my favorite classic B horror movies, believe it or not. They actually have on their page, the person who had posted about these VHS tapes is a movie called Tower of the Screaming Virgin, so I'd like to find that one. Wow, there's a nice picture on them. I'm going to save that. Some girl's hiney from in the movie. You know what? Honestly, folks, some of these older horror movies are really good. Now, there's one called Necronomicon, you know that book of the Dead. There's a really gory picture. I would have to check out this movie. It says Book of the Dead, 1993. Basically, based upon an H.P. Lovecraft. This guy is like ripping the skin off this guy's face, like peeling it like you peel skin off of. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was Blood Beach because they have it. It's like peeling it off of a piece of chicken. So it looks pretty weird. I'm gonna have to check that out. So, but yeah, he did put up the picture of Blood Beach. That was a cool movie. It's about basically, I think they referred it to the Little Shop of Horrors kind of thing. The Little Shop of Horrors monster was underneath the beach eating people. It was goofy, but I actually did enjoy it. Oh yeah, that's what it's called. There was a horror movie called Elves with these monster-looking elves. Some of those, I have a VHS, but I have to look some of these up. I think most of them had been released on DVD at least, to say the least. So, hey, that's pretty cool. Anyway, missing Hogan's Heroes, but now I own them. I'm going to watch them in order. You know, the first Hogan's Heroes, folks, was actually in black and white. There was only one that was in black and white. The rest were in color. That was pretty interesting to find out when I started watching them in order now. Now, you don't have to watch Hogan's Heroes in order because there really is no order to them. That's why when you watch them on MeTV, they're not in order because it's not really necessary. But I have to recommend, I went to get my hair cut at this place called Sal's Barbershop. And in addition, I actually went to eat down at this place called Lou's, the original Lou's down in Norristown. It was really good, too. So that was pretty cool. Oh, there was a story a friend had posted. I think I stole it from him, from Unilad. Dad catches 15-year-old son having sex with a strip club worker in the shower. So I guess that's going to just be dismissed because he was a guy and she was doing him a favor. You know, that's what it always ends up being. But it says a strip club worker has been charged with lewd and ludicrous or lucrative acts on a child after she was caught in the shower with a 15-year-old lad by his dad. Syria Daniel Stokes, a waitress at Jacksonville Gold Club in Florida, was arrested after she stopped at her friend's house to have a shower, but ended up having sex with his son, reports. The teenager reportedly told investigators the 29-year-old Stokes used his phone to browse Facebook, and then the pair watched TV. So, you know what? See, this will get dismissed, but again, this is one of these cases, if it was on the shoe was on the other foot, that guy, if it was a guy doing it to a 15-year-old girl, he would never see the light of day again. He'd be in jail for the rest of his life. Come on, let's face it. However, he alleges that Stokes then invited him into the shower with her, and while showering, she performed oral sex on him while he groped her. I don't care if, the thing is, you can't make it permissible on one side and, offense or criminal offense on the other side. You got to keep the playing field the same on both sides. I'm sorry. The boy's dad was woken up by the noise and was outraged to find the woman nearly doubled his son's age, which he was. She really was. She was twice his age, having sex with him and demanded that Stokes leave. Stokes has reportedly told investigators she was drunk and didn't recall everything that had taken place. That's bullshit. However, she did acknowledge kissing the 15-year-old, saying it was a bad mistake. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It just gets dismissed. I mean, the only way you stop this stuff is you allow guys to have sex with 15-year-olds. You know where that's going to go. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be, we should chop off the guys' dicks. They should be in jail the rest of their life. We should rip them apart. Well, if you're going to make it again permissible for guys or for women to get away with this, you got to make it permissible for guys. It's only fair. I'm telling you. And yes, I'm being sarcastic, but I'm being also pretty much honest as well. Hey, there was some funny picture I saw, and the captions underneath were really funny from this. It says, Horrors of Spider Island. And yeah, it's really funny because it shows this screenshot, like a poster shot for this movie, and it's a blonde-haired girl. It's a colorized picture. Maybe it was a 1970s movie, but it's really badly colored. And the girl's mouth looks like one of those love dolls. Like, literally, it looks like a love doll. So somebody put a picture up when they posted this picture for this movie showing a love doll, and the mouth does look exactly the same. So I don't know if this was deliberately done for this movie prop or, picture, like they kind of fabricated with the picture. I think that's the real picture, though, for this movie poster. So it says, "What's her mouth?" And it's hilarious. You look at it, it literally, like this, I'm going to have to look for this movie again. It's called Horrors of Spider Island. And the girl, literally, her mouth looks like a love doll. I mean, the same shape and form and everything. So it's really funny. I got another one. There's funny pictures, by the way, for, against liberals, of course. Democrats doing your health care, what they did to Detroit. They're showing how it's been ruins, Detroit. Like, this is what they're doing for your health care. And it was another funny picture. Somebody actually did post up on, like, a telephone pole. And it's for, like, those cat lovers, because I always like those. And it shows, like, a terrorist, like an ISIS terrorist, pretty much. And it says, "Have you seen your cat? ? He's mine now, and I love him." So, yeah, it's kind of funny, but it looks like they're holding the cat and whatever. And it's just like, it's supposed to be a joke, obviously, but they did put it up on the telephone pole. Here was a funny one, too, by the way. And this was on opposingviews.com. And it says, "Husband sees man at Walmart taking upskirt pics of his wife, takes matters into his own hands." Like, this guy's, like, literally bending over and trying to take pictures up women's skirts. I don't know how you could do that. Like, I saw that in that one movie called Splash years ago, where that was a joke. Or looking up, like, people's up their skirts. If you ever saw the movie Splash with John Candy and Tom Hanks, John Candy was, like, throwing coins on the floor and then look up women's skirts to take a look. I don't even know what the big deal about that is. I don't get, a rise out of it. This guy's actually taking pictures, and he makes it really obvious. He got caught on camera. This Virginia man, John Wiggins, was caught snapping pictures up a woman's dress on Sunday, May 31st, after another victim's husband took a photo of the man. So that's where that comes from. I thought it was a security camera. Really funny story, though. And that was posted, even though it said May, it was actually posted just today, the story, on Opposing Views. So, yeah, the man got caught. I mean, he looks like, dude, don't you know that everybody can see what you're doing? I mean, it's funny. So there's that. There's another one of those funny captions I captured. "Thanks to Affordable Care Act, we now can afford health insurance this year. So, no, we can't afford health insurance this year. So we can pay a $2,085 penalty." And they're like, these people waving their arms like they're so happy. Like, it's a goof. But it's true. That's what you're going to end up paying. No shit. I think this might be my last story. I found some escaped murderer suspect shot to death by one of his hostages. So that's always good news, right? It's in Vicksburg, MS. Where is MS in? The murder suspect, who escaped from a Mississippi jail, so it's Mississippi jail, last week was shot to death Monday by one of the people he had taken hostage. So that's always good. It says Raphael McLeod, 33, escaped from the Warren County jail where he was waiting trial for the kidnap, rape, and something else. So, and again, by the way, I don't need to go any further. It says Lou's Steak is where I ate, by the way, today. It was a really cool place. I do recommend that. There is a story. This is no joke. Some of these stories just seem too good to be too weird to be true. But I found this on YouTube. Somehow, woman pays strangers to stroke their women. It's not just women. Women pay strangers to stroke their vaginas, or orgasmic or something. Meditation was founded by Nicole Deddun or something 14 years ago. True story. Let's see if I can open that up real quick. No puns intended, by the way. But yeah, oh wait, let's see what it says. The Mac Phantom women pay strangers to stroke their vaginas. Hey, I'll do it for free. It depends what they look like. But that's a real story from this one guy. He keeps himself anonymous. But yeah, people actually pay to get women get paid. They pay men to stroke their vaginas. I don't know. There's some strange people out there, I'll tell you that much. And yet they're always crying rape at the same time. Now, here's something from a friend put up. He sent it to me, Lancaster Online. It says, Mikia or Stewart was found dead. Maybe it's short for Michelle. I don't know. Was found dead in. Oh no, it's a guy. Was found dead in his cell at Greater Ford State Prison Wednesday morning. A prison official confirmed today Stewart was serving a life sentence for the 2004 murder of his 19-year-old girlfriend, Courtney Fry. This is Courtney Fry killed by Mikia Stewart. Dies in state prison South Sea. So people don't take that serious. They take that very seriously when a male does something to a woman, but it's not the other way around. At Stewart's 2006 trial, investigators said Stewart in sentence space, I guess, in July 2004 for the beat 2004 beat and strangled. He basically beat and strangled his girlfriend before striking her in the head with a screwdriver. So, okay, this guy was life in prison. He looks like one of those Muslims, too. I'm sorry, but July 2004 for beating and strangling Fry just before he hit her in the head with a screwdriver. Hey, she got a real prize winner boyfriend that, well, she has nothing to say about anymore. She's dead, and now he's dead too. So maybe we'll get those 1,000 or whatever it is, those virgins, 100 virgins. I don't know. But there's not really much to the story, believe it or not. But it was just they said he got killed in jail. Some other con killed him, so he got his just desserts. I guess that old saying of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth still holds truth to some people. So that is going to be the rest of my stories, but I'm just going to take a look because I got some stuff that came up, and then I'm just going to sign off for tonight. So I hope everybody kind of liked it. Yeah, actually, for once, I don't have anything new. So, my stories, I say this, I'm going to continue to say this because I don't know what's going to go on. I'm probably, unless there's something for me to talk about, I won't be on tomorrow night. I don't know yet, actually. But I just hope people enjoy, or at least try to get some enjoyment out of what I talk about. I know it's never anything that great, but I tried to. I really do. So everyone, okay, there's something from Times Herald. I'm not sure. Well, there was one from Times Herald. Maybe I'll just read this last one. There's always something that comes up, I'm telling you. 5 hours ago, former guard at the State Correctional Institution at Greater Ford finds himself on the other side of the law, facing time behind bars for having sexual contact with an inmate. Former guard at the State Correctional Institution at Greater Ford finds himself on the other side. That just repeats itself. Yeah, I mean, it said it was 5 hours ago, but this first win I got for Christopher M. Gonis, 43, of the first block of North State Road, Upper Darby, was convicted in Montgomery County Court on Thursday of a felony charge of institutional sexual assault in connection with the September 2012 incident at the state prison located in Skipback Township. So one of the correctional guards now will be in jail himself for having sex with an inmate. That's kind of weird. The thing I was kind of curious about was with a guy or a woman. It doesn't really state. So anyway, you can see that Times Herald always does post some stuff. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to mention that. There's probably, well, at this point, there's really not that much. Huh. Actually, there might be, actually. Because there's another one from the Times Herald, folks. It actually says 2 teams of deputies took 12 people into custody, 10 men and 2 women during an overnight sweep of alleged deadbeat parents. Once again, they do this been doing it more often, who collectively own over $77,000 in child support arrangement for 17 children, according to County Sheriff Sean P. Kinkley or something. So... Now, here's another one that's interesting. This is from the Morning Call. Upper Mount Bethel rescuers free female from hole in Delaware River. So you can see what I mean about that. Upper Mount Bethel rescuers tried to save a female trapped in Delaware River Bridge. Rescuers crews were dispatched Wednesday evening to the abandoned Slateford Railroad Bridge over the Delaware River, Upper Mount Bethel, on the report. So I guess the girl was walking over the tracks and she actually fell through because they are abandoned. I mean, I really don't have much room to speak, honestly, because I've done that. I've gone to these areas you're not supposed to be on or in, and do videos in those sections. It says she was 21 years old. She was rescued on Wednesday. Thank God she's all right, I hope, after she fell through a hole atop of the abandoned Slateford Railroad Bridge over Delaware River, and she couldn't free herself, police said. My assumption, she must have had a phone if she was by herself. Yeah, they said the bridge is 65 feet tall, so she could have fell to her death if she would have really went through. So, yeah, that one was actually on the Morning Call. So, thank goodness she's all right. You do got to be careful about stuff like that. Huh. See, I always find this stuff after I'm ready to close up shop, so to speak. But this one was from Rush Limbaugh. It says, is a Trump cruise ticket still possible? He actually posted this today. Rush, what happens to the Republican establishment guys who dislike both of them? But let's say for discussion purposes that's the ticket. Can the party unify behind that ticket? Can the Republicans establishment get behind basically either one of these guys? Well, they're going to have to. I'm sorry. That's still going to be the bottom line. Now, here's something also a different note, by the way, not Rush Limbaugh. But there was something about these Dark Towers. I remember the books, one friend of mine from the past would read these Dark Tower books, and he really liked them. He said they were really good books, but they're actually going to make into a film, I think. And he said it's from Cinema Blend. They said, I guess it's starting to shape up. They actually says the Dark Towers just casted a pivotal role. So, again, that was on Cinema Blend. Oh, God, this is funny. I'll have to send this to a friend. IHOP restaurant. I have to send this to actually one friend in particular. Which I am doing now. But it seems like an employee... Now, this is kind of ridiculous. I mean, this is heinous, but it's stupid. PIX11, an IHOP server has been hit with a felony charge for giving away too many free drinks. Do you think he is modern-day Robin Hood? Do you think he's a modern-day Robin Hood or not? Honestly, if you're giving out free drinks, it costs pennies, literally, for what it costs him for the seltzer water and the, what do you call it? I'm trying to think. The seltzer water and what it costs for them to, make up. Because I worked at Hardee's years ago. I mean, like 20-some years ago. And they even said that, like the guy said, yeah, for what it cost Hardee's back in the day to make a large soda was probably like 5 cents, if even that. For a large soda, it costs like 5 cents. And that's including the syrup in the seltzer order. So it's not that much money. It's not going to like break the bank if the guy's giving out even a large amount of sodas for free. I mean, the most you're wasting, even that's a write-off. Because you're actually giving out free sodas. Really, what you're doing is you're increasing your business. So that'd be one thing I'd have to say. The guy's not doing anything wrong. Trust me. So, and generally, sodas are free anyway. I guess if you get one, you can get free refills. So I think they're just taking that story too far. That's my opinion. So I'm going to do, by the way, folks, just one more sweep, and I'm going to wrap it up. It's after 10. It's almost 11. So, for me. Yeah. So I'm done for tonight anyway. So I hope you enjoyed my dialogue and what I, put together. And I'm signing off for now. And if I'm not on tomorrow, I won't be on until probably, at the earliest, it's probably Sunday because I'm going to a concert tomorrow night. So just, trying to make the best of it. And, yeah, I hope the stories I found were okay for everybody to listen to. So anyway, folks, thanks a lot for listening to me. And have a good evening. And, this is iWalter, or I should say Walter from iWalter signing off for now. Thanks again for listening to me if you are. And have a good evening. Thanks.